After 2 nerve-wracking months of watching my stock portfolio explode, I cashed out a whopping $100 million. My heart pounded with excitement as I called my wife and son, telling them I'd be home this afternoon. I had big news, the best news to share. My wife's voice on the phone was oddly flat. "You're sure you're coming home today?" "Absolutely." "Sweetheart, I promise the news I'm bringing home will be the biggest surprise ever." She chuckled. "Okay, then I've got a big surprise for you too." I couldn't wipe the grin off my face the entire drive home. I pictured my wife waiting with a huge dinner spread just for me. They'd be ecstatic when they found out how much I'd made. But when I pulled up to the house, I saw a pile of stuff by the front door. A closer look. It was all my stuff? My son Leo was actually throwing my clothes out onto the lawn. "Leo, what on earth are you doing?" I asked, utterly bewildered. Leo looked up, saw me, and sneered. He even let out a cold huff. "Mom told me to throw all your junk out." My brows furrowed at his words. I rushed inside, desperate to ask Veronica what in the world was going on. The moment I stepped in, I saw a table laden with food, and my wife, Veronica, was leaning into another man's arms, beaming. I knew him. Damien, her supervisor from work. It hit me like a ton of bricks. My head immediately swam with rage. "Veronica, what the hell do you think you're doing?" I roared, my voice shaking. Veronica rolled her eyes at me. "Asher, are you brain dead? Can't you see what's happening? Obviously, I found a better man and I'm kicking you out. A penniless loser like you? Anyone who sticks with you is doomed. You didn't actually think I'd be loyal to you for life, did you? Damien is a supervisor at his company. He has a brilliant future ahead. You, a broke deadbeat, couldn't even compare." She finished smug, pulling Damien even closer. Damien grinned victoriously, looking down at me with utter contempt. He looked like the cat who got the cream. I gasped for air, clenching my fists. "How long have you been cheating on me behind my back?" "I'll tell you the truth. Damien and I have been together for a year. Now that he's finally divorced, I'm divorcing you to marry him." A suffocating feeling tightened in my chest. I'd worked so hard, all to give my wife and son a better life. I'd volunteered for a tough assignment, surveying terrain in a remote, harsh location. Day and night, I'd dreamed of making enough money to provide that cozy family life I'd always dreamed of. I'd been out there enduring wind and sun, busting my butt, and my wife had been in here, having an affair and turning me into a complete cuckold. "Fine, if you want a divorce, we can divorce, but Leo comes with me." I took a deep breath, forcing the words out. A woman who betrayed me? I didn't want her anymore. But then my son Leo screamed at me, "No! I don't want to go with you." Leo was 14 this year. I thought he was old enough to understand. "Leo, don't worry. I promise I'll still be a good dad to you after your mom and I split." Leo just gave me a look of disgust. "Seriously? Who'd want to be with you? Mom's marrying a supervisor, he makes hundreds of thousands a year. Look at you, just a pathetic nobody, barely making enough to scrape by. Mom already said she's taking me with her after the divorce. Uncle Damien will be my dad from now on." "You're nothing. Don't ruin my bright future. Right, Dad?" Leo practically fawned over Damien, calling him Dad with a big smile. Veronica chuckled, patting his head. "That's my son. He knows how to play his cards right. A broke deadbeat like him really doesn't deserve to be your father." I stood there, feeling like all the blood in my veins had turned to ice. I thought Leo was just upset about the divorce, but it turned out he actually looked down on me, wanting Damien as his father. It felt like a knife twisting in my chest. "Leo, I have money. I can still give you a good life too." The moment I said that, all three of them burst out laughing. "Asher, how can you even say that with a straight face?" "I have money? I know exactly how penniless you are." Veronica scoffed, a sneer plastered on her face. "Exactly. My new dad already promised to buy me the latest phone. That's probably something you'd struggle to afford, isn't it? But even if you did buy it, I wouldn't recognize you anymore. Mom says you always upgrade when you can, and I'm going with her to live the good life with my new dad." "Don't be a roadblock!" Damien smirked, looking at me. "Buddy, no offense, but a man needs to be capable. It's only natural for an incapable man to lose his wife and child. If you want to blame anyone, blame yourself for being useless." My wife nodded. "Damien's right. Asher, I've already prepared the divorce papers. Sign them quickly. Since Leo is staying with me, the house has to be mine." I stood there numb. My wife and son's faces were utterly alien and chilling. Fine. If they want a divorce, then divorce it is. I wasn't going to fight for a woman who cuckolded me. But my son, my throat tightened. I looked at Leo, asking seriously, "Leo, are you truly giving up on your dad? Aren't you afraid you'll regret this later?" Leo impatiently rolled his eyes. I said, "Just sign the divorce papers. I can't wait for you to divorce. Besides, I already have a new dad. Who wants a useless dad like you? I won't regret anything." My heart died completely at his words. I signed the divorce papers without another thought. I looked at them. "Even if you beg me on your knees for forgiveness later, I will never forgive you." Veronica burst into laughter. "Poor loser, always fantasizing. Begging for forgiveness? Not in a million years." "Exactly, just get out. Don't interrupt our family dinner. And those piles of junk at the door? Take them with you." Leo smugly chased me out. I gave him one last cold look, then turned and walked away. I didn't want my things. And I didn't want an ungrateful wretch of a son either. I checked into a hotel. Before the divorce was even finalized, Veronica posted a photo of herself, Leo, and Damien on Ins, captioned, "My beautiful family of 3. Relatives on Veronica's Snapchat group started asking what was going on. She laughed and replied, "What else? I dumped my useless husband and found a man 100 times better." Leo also excitedly sent a voice message. "Yeah, everyone! I'm announcing that Uncle Damien is my dad now. Don't ever associate me with Asher, that pathetic loser." They didn't even care that I was still in the group. Their words filled me with both coldness and fury. And those relatives? They all chimed in, laughing. "Oh, so that's what happened. Asher was pretty much a deadbeat anyway. Veronica, you're so capable. Congratulations." Seriously, why is Asher still in the group? Can't he see nobody respects him? Why doesn't he just leave? Such bad vibes. I watched their mocking messages, my face unreadable. Initially, I hadn't thought about leaving. Now I decided I wouldn't. I wanted to see how well Veronica and Leo would live without me, Asher. A month later, Veronica and I officially received our divorce certificate. She wasted no time, practically dragging Damien to get their marriage license, while Leo happily cheered them on. I felt utterly ridiculous. All these years I'd been frugal, providing Veronica and Leo with more than enough materially. Everything else I'd poured into the stock market. I knew my job was ordinary. Even if I worked myself to death, I wouldn't make much money. So I devoted myself to studying the market, and I really did pick a killer stock raking in 100 million, but I felt it was mostly luck. So I decided to stop. I planned to use the money to buy houses, cars, and invest in some stable businesses. I'd originally intended for all that money to go to my wife and son. Well now, I could spend it however I pleased, all on my own. That day, I went to the sales office of a high-end complex in our area, Grand Manor Estates, which offered move-in ready homes. As I walked in, I spotted Veronica, Damien, and my son Leo all looking at properties. I frowned. What a small world. I was about to leave and come back another time when Damien suddenly saw me. Well, Asher, what are you doing here? You certainly love to crash the party, don't you? At his greeting, Veronica and Leo both looked my way. When they saw me, they both let out a scoff. Asher, you poor jerk, what are you doing here? Don't tell me you're actually here to buy a house. Even the basic condos here are ridiculously expensive, like $500,000 for a small apartment. You couldn't even afford a broom closet, Veronica said, her face twisted in a mocking smile. Leo actually pulled out his phone, snapped a picture of me, and sent it to the Snapchat group, scoffing. Everyone come see! Some pathetic loser actually dares to come look at houses at Grand Manor. The moment he sent it, the relatives in the group started sending sarcastic voice messages. Asher, I told you, why don't you just leave the group? You're divorced from Veronica now, and she's buying a house. Why are you tagging along? Won't you be embarrassed when you walk around and realize you can't even afford a down payment? Exactly, Asher. We get that you're still hung up on Veronica, but a useless man can't blame a woman for being heartless. Stop making a fool of yourself. Veronica, you and Damien should tell the sales staff to kick this broke jerk out. What's the point of serving someone who can't buy anything? It's just wasting their precious time. Veronica played each mocking voice message from her relatives, a triumphant grin on her face. I scoffed, pulled out my phone, and said, "Who's still hung up on Veronica? I'm here to buy a house." Immediately, another wave of mockery erupted. Asher, stop bluffing. You couldn't even get a mortgage for a place here. Yeah, if you can afford a house here, I'll cut out my tongue and let you eat it. At that moment, Damien smirked. Veronica, relax. If he says he's here to buy a house, let's just pretend he is. Today, we'll watch closely and see what kind of house he's going to buy. Veronica's smirk turned wicked. She actually started a Snapchat group video call. Everyone, I'm going to live stream a joke for you. Come and enjoy watching a broke guy with no shame trying to act rich. After she spoke, the people on the video call were already roaring with laughter. The saleswoman, Sarah, looked a bit bewildered, but politely turned to me. Sir, what kind of property are you interested in? I smiled, then looked at Veronica. How big of a place are you planning to buy? Veronica proudly puffed out her chest. My husband is buying us a fully furnished 135 square meter, 3-bedroom, 1 living room apartment. That's over $3 million. A price you couldn't afford in a lifetime. Damien also smiled, looking self-satisfied. Everyone in the group was raving about how lucky Veronica was to be getting such a big, luxurious home. I turned to Sarah, the saleswoman. Do you have any villas? I'd like to buy a villa. Money is not an issue. At my words, the people on the video call doubled over with laughter. Asher, you really are a show-off. How dare you say money's not an issue and you want a villa? I'm staying right here, watching to see if you can actually afford it. No way, I need to record this. I'll post it online so people can see what a failed attempt at showing off looks like. Veronica's getting a bigger house and he's just putting on a show for his pathetic self-esteem. Poor saleswoman, she's stuck wasting her time with this jerk today. Veronica heard what the group said and looked at me with a smirk. My son Leo glared at me and yelled, God, you're so embarrassing. Mom and I were totally right not to stick with you. Sarah, the saleswoman, looked a bit awkward. Sir, are you sure you want to look at villas? Positive. Just show me your best villas. Seeing my serious expression, Sarah nodded and led us to the villas, introducing the properties carefully. Mr. Asher, this villa is top-notch in terms of both its surroundings and its interior design. However, the price is also higher, coming in at over $22 million. What do you think this? Sarah hesitated, and Veronica burst out laughing. I told you don't waste your breath. He's definitely going to say he doesn't like it, or it's not what he's looking for. Leo also sneered. How else would he save face? With all those eyes watching. The people on the video call were also laughing. They all watched me like I was a joke. Alright, I'll take this one. I swept my gaze over them, a deep glint in my eyes. I'd come here planning to buy a house anyway, and this villa truly did suit my taste. Of course I was going to buy it. The moment I said that, everyone burst out laughing even harder. Damien directly told Sarah, don't get your hopes up. This guy's just trying to look important. Forget a villa, he can't even afford a broom closet.